St. Pete is booming, but St. Pete is huge. It is not one homogenous glob when it comes to the real estate here. So in today's video, I'm going to go over the 4 distinct regions that make up the St. Pete real estate market. I'll cover who they're typically geared towards, what kind of crowd they attract, what the entry price point is for a typical 3-2 that's move-in ready, but nothing too flashy. If you find the video interesting, useful, all that jazz, please like and subscribe. I'm dropping one of these a week, and any help with the algorithm is greatly appreciated. Now, without further ado, let's jump right into South St. Pete. So we'll start here in south of Central, and this is the part of town where all of my investors are focusing their interest, because this is the part of town where there's the most opportunity. You can still find a lot of homes at value that either need to be moved into, gutted, renovated, and updated for relatively inexpensive and still make some good money on it. Or I'm even seeing a lot of vacant land deals come across my way where I have investors who understand if they can buy a lot for 100 grand, build something new on it for 225, we're gonna find a young professional who wants to be near St. Pete but doesn't want to pay the $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 price tag it costs to be in a place north of Central like Old Northeast or Crescent Lake. So this is the part of town that young professionals are flocking to when they see something that's a newer build, because it does have the proximity to downtown. And with the newest announcement of the Rays Stadium, we're expecting, you don't want to put too much expectations on something that's so far out, but there's a reasonable optimism that everything south of St. Pete over the next 10 years is gonna really take off, because it's gonna be more walkable and closer to a cool downtown area if the renderings are accurate of what the plans end up looking like. It's kind of a jumbled sentence, but that's okay. St. Pete does suburbia. So now we're in the western part of St. Pete. If you take Central all the way west, this is where you'll end up, and this is comprised of a lot of more suburban type neighborhoods where it's a little bit nicer, it's a little bit more well kept up, the price points are a little higher, and therefore this part of town attracts a lot of younger couples and younger families who still want to be close to downtown, but want to have a little bit more of a homey feel when they're in their neighborhood. And the sacrifice they're willing to give up for that is, hey, we can't walk to downtown anymore, but we are a short Uber ride to get there. So all the houses here are going to be custom. You're not going to see any cracked housing or a builder who bought up a certain plot and made them all the same. They're all going to be custom. You're going to see an eclectic style of homes. You'll see some old, traditional, and charming homes. You'll see some brand new modern homes too throughout here. And it makes for a really cool, unique feeling, because no two streets are the same. The entry point for here, you're looking at probably for a nice 3-2, move-in ready. You can expect to pay around $425 to $430, depending on how big it is, if it has a pool, how nicely it's done. Probably top end, closer to $625 for this part of town. One other thing I'll throw in there, you're not gonna see very many HOAs here, if any at all, so that's one less cost you have to factor in when it comes to comparing these homes to maybe a development that you're considering. The next sector we're going to talk about is the area just north of Central. That's going to be Crescent Lake. You'll hear it called Old Northeast. Everything north of Central that goes up to right around 54th Avenue is kind of in the same wheelhouse. So in this part of town, you're going to see a lot of really nice, charming, historic looking homes that are really well kept up. In this part of town, you're looking at newer homes or nice homes starting in the 500s, and you're going up to the 900s, even the millions for some of the newer, more modern construction homes. We'll see if I can flash some of that B-roll here while I'm talking about it. Who is this area a good fit for? Who targets here? Not a lot of investors, unless you happen to have an inside deal on a property where someone wants to unload something that needs to be renovated. Not a lot of investors are focusing on this part of town. This is end users and typically families who want to be close to downtown, and they enjoy the amenities of you know, St. Pete being right there, but they want to be in a more family-focused community where that's at the heart of it. The areas are kept up a little nicer, and in exchange for all of those nice amenities, they're going to pay a premium for it. So there's really not as much value to be found here, which is why, as I said earlier, the investors aren't really targeting this area. But if you want to be near downtown St. Pete in a great part of town that is family focused and really centers around that, then this is the part of town you want to be. There's also just on the street behind me, the name escapes me, maybe I'll put it in the captions right now. There's a lot of the cool green smoothie shops, the hippy dippy joints, the up and coming, like really cool hipster stuff that you see in Central. There's a lot of that here too, which is a big draw for the yuppie crowd, I think is what they're referred to affectionately in my opinion. That kind of folk, they'll also get a real kick out of being here. And one other thing I'll throw in there is a lot of the streets here, especially near Crescent Lake, have cobblestone roads, which I always find super charming. And now we are on Snell Isle, also the Venetian Isles area, basically northeast, directly on the water of St. Pete. That's where we are. And this is the top of the line homes. This is the nicest part St. Pete has to offer. And it's pretty easy to see why. You're gonna see a lot of multi-million, beautiful, massive, brand new construction, historic homes. You're gonna see cottages. They're all custom built. There's no tract housing in sight. Homes in here, even ones you may not think are very substantial or very large, we'll say, are still gonna go for 800, 900,000 just because this part of town is so sought after. And it's pretty easy to see why. You're right next to downtown St. Pete, maybe 5-minute drive. And the entire drive is right along the water, popping right out in front of the Vinoy. Almost said this Don Cesar. You're right on the water. A lot of the homes actually have waterfront access, but even if you don't, you're not too far from just taking a stroll and seeing a canal, seeing the Tampa Bay, seeing St. Petersburg Bay, if that's a thing. We'll find out when I'm in editing. And it's just very nice, very clean, very updated. And when you're paying those price tags, you would expect something that checks those boxes or matches those adjectives, that's the word. So who's a good fit for? If money is no object, you just want the nicest, you want the best, you want the freshest, you want the nicest neighborhood, the most expensive plot, the most expensive home. You want to be near downtown, all the flash. You'll probably be a member at the Vinoy if you golf. This is the spot for you. You're going to be very happy here. One thing is, I will say this area, when it rains, the streets do flood, so be a little careful about that. And as far as how deep some of the slips are, you also got to be careful about that. But outside of that, it's as much as you can ask for being this close to St. Pete. So all that being said, if you found this video interesting, useful, relevant at all, and you're considering making a move, whether that's in 2 months or 2 years from now, I'd love the chance to be your real estate resource. Reach out to the email address in the description below, and let's have a conversation. Thanks for watching.